Hold on, cuts. Eagle. Hold on, cuts. Two. Eagle. What's up, guys? Back at me is here. We got Sabrina Teenage with Season 4, Episode 21, The Four Faces of Sabrina. Okay, so this episode starts off with Sabrina getting, she gets, a call from the mail, where she gets, an invitation from the mail, or the toaster mail, and it says that she got into Other Realm U. And yeah, so then she goes to the coffee shop where Josh is like, hey, you got into Emerson, and yeah, and then she goes to Harvey, and Harvey's like, hey, we both got into Boston College, and then Hilda's like, hey, Sabrina, I want you to go backpacking through the galaxy. And yeah, and then, Sabrina also gets into Adams College. So, yeah, so because of all wanting to make her family happy, she switched herself into four versions of four different Sabrinas to make herself happy. And yeah, there's four different versions of her, and because she wanted to make all her family happy, one of the Sabrinas is like, hey, I'm going to Emerson. The other one's like, the first one goes to Josh, she's like, hey, I'm going to Emerson. And the second one goes to Hilda, and it's like, hey, I want to go backpacking through Europe. And the third one's like, hey, I'm gonna go to Other Rome University. And then the fourth one's like, hey, I'm gonna go to Boston College. So yeah, you can see and they're all so they go to a prom. Yeah. And this is also the last appearance of Dreama. Don't know why they got rid of her, but I guess they couldn't have her in season 5, so they got rid of her. Got rid of her character. Like all of the Sabrina's best friends. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this kind of makes, if they got rid of Dreama in this episode, that kind of makes, a question. Did Dreama ever get a license? After this season? Did you ever get a license? Anyway, Dreama's last appearance is seeing Sabrina and the four Sabrinas in the bathroom saying, interesting spell. And that's the last we see of Dreama. So, her last appearance was on a line. Basically saying a word. So yeah, and the Sabrinas are like, hey, hands in, and they turn themselves back normal, and Harvey and Josh got into a fight over Sabrina going to Boston, Sabrina going to Emerson, and then Hilda and Zelda are like, she's backpacking through Europe, backpacking through the galaxy, and yeah, and then Sabrina's like, can you tell this guy you're going to going to Boston College? And she's like, guys, I know you're getting mad, but the place I want to actually go is Adams College. And they're like, okay, that's fine. And yeah, and yeah, there's also I think a side plot. There's also a side plot of Principal Kraft in this episode, and he's Hilda bumps into him. Hilda crashes his car, and he and Zelda break up. And Hilda crashes his car, so he's like, "I'm gonna sue you." And he's like, "Hey Willard," and Zelda's like, "Hey Willard, we're over, we're done." And he's like, "Then fine, but I'm still." And then yeah. And then Principal Kraft at the party's like, hey, I'm still gonna sue your sister. So Zelda's like, we're over. I'm done with you. Go, Principal Awful. Actually, she doesn't say that, but that's what I like to call him, because he's awful principal. But anyway, yeah, Principal Kraft was doing in this episode was that he couldn't get in contact with the school board, so yeah. So, so I guess the school board fired him because he called like 400 times and they didn't answer. So I guess he's fired because he called them, they didn't answer. So I guess they didn't want to renew his contract because of how an awful principal he was or something. I don't know. They didn't even state why they didn't want to renew his contract. It's either because he's an awful principal and principals are supposed to be there to like be there for the student, but Principal Kraft doesn't do that, and he, like wants to see his students be sad. He's like the dream crusher of all dream crushers, but anyway, I don't know why they didn't renew his license. I'm just saying that's probably one the part because I saw him being an awful principal, and they didn't want to renew his license because they saw him being an awful principal. But what do I know? But what do I know? So next episode is the finale. The original, yeah. Next episode is the season finale. So, yeah. We'll just have to see what's gonna happen in the season finale. So, yeah. This episode was good. It was a good penultimate episode for the season. I really enjoyed this one. It wasn't like yeah. Sabrina's now all the way off to college. So yeah, next episode we'll actually not see Sabrina graduate, but they'll intend that she graduate high school with Harvey and all of them, and yeah. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful, morning. I'll see you next. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Sorry. I'll see you guys next. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Boom.